Jesus didn't have a problem with people that's in the streets. He had a problem with religious people.
How can I help anybody when I was not even able to help my own son?
I would never do that. I would never do that. And I became that in a matter of minutes when they took my pain pills away.
And I said, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
This is Faith in Your Recovery. I am Randy Davis. Welcome to the battle. Welcome to this episode of Faith in Your Recovery. We're thrilled that you've joined us. We're looking forward to our time together with Cara. I'll introduce her to you here in a moment. But before we get there, there's a couple of things I want to mention. Number one, today, November 5, is the 11-year anniversary of A Better Life, Brianna's Hope. We're 11 years old, and we're glad that we've been able to accomplish what we had. God certainly blessed, used us to touch, change, and save lives, and we're not done. We're certain He's not either, so we want to continue to make that happen. And I just want to quickly throw this in, being the week before Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans, for your sacrifice, for your family's sacrifice, for your willingness to serve, and for all that you've done. You've certainly blessed us to allow us the freedom to have this opportunity to present our podcast. So you folks who are listening, continue to click on that like, to subscribe, and send us any questions or comments you have. Text them on the screen there, and Eric will shoot those to us, and we'll just make you a part of this. So, Cara, welcome aboard.
Hi, Randy.
Good to have you. Cara, go ahead and tell the people, tell our listeners, our watchers, who you are today. Brag on yourself. I know you've come a long way, and then we'll get to the darker side of the story and come back to the victory again. So go ahead and define who Cara Cramer is today.
Today, I get to be a good mom. I get to be involved with my grandkids and get to be a Gigi. Currently, I get to take my dad to the doctor and things like that, and I attend Brianna's Hope. I get to help others. I get to be the person I've always wanted to be.
Wow, that says a lot. I believe we should all strive to be that person God's created us to be.
Yes.
And that's very much what we're about at A Better Life, Brianna's Hope, and on our Faith in Your Recovery podcast. Obviously, there was a time where you didn't think the world of Cara or life or anything that happened. Let's go back to that. When did the struggle start for you, Cara?
Well, I started smoking cigarettes when I was, going into my freshman year. So I think I was like 13. About halfway through my freshman year, I became friends with seniors, which meant I went to parties. I got in trouble with my parents, but I still went and did the things. When I was 15, I started dating somebody. I got pregnant, and that's around the time things got real rough.
What did it start with as far as drugs go? What was your drug of choice there in the beginning, and how did it digress from there?
I started with alcohol, and that would be like on the weekends or half
Pretty
days of school.
standard.
Yes.
Okay.
I smoked pot sometimes. And then it was the week after I had my son. My mom wanted to keep him overnight, and she did. So she kept him overnight to give me a break. And
How old were you at that time?
16.
Okay.
So this would have been like the second weekend of September is the first time I ever tried meth.
How did that come about? Were you at a party? Did somebody offer it to you, person to person, or how'd that take place?
That would have been my kids' dad.
Okay. So he was into it, and obviously he offered it to you, and for whatever reason. Do you know why it was that you said yes to meth at that time?
I think it was probably because I was 16, he was 18. By this time, we'd split up a few times, and I just wanted my family to be together.
And so by doing that, you saw that as a way in to be connected with him. Don't let me
Yes.
put words or thoughts in your mouth or your mind, but you went ahead thinking maybe we can connect through this.
Yes, that's what I thought. And like every time we'd use together, I thought that would connect us because that's like the time we would get along is if we were using. So when we'd use together, we like would sit down and talk and all the adult things, even though I was not an adult.
And how long did that carry on?
For a few months, and then I got pregnant for my daughter. So I was not using during that time. And then after I had her, maybe a couple months later, we started using cocaine and meth, like whatever was around Jay County at that time is what we were using.
Okay. How long were you into the cocaine and just whatever you could get your hands on?
Until we split up, and I was around 18 when we split up. I had moved in with my dad. And then, let me think. And I had stopped using later. I don't know how much long later, but I ended up moving in with somebody in Red Key. And then we got married and things were all right for a while. He started using, so that kind of threw a loop in our life. We moved back to town, back to Portland. We were staying at my mom's. I wanted to I just wanted to go party. That's what I did. I got a job at the bar and would work second shift. And after my shift, I'd stay and close the bar down every single night for I don't know how many years, probably about 4 or 5 years.
How long how many years did you battle addiction through all of that and until you became clean, Cara? Did you say that was like 2016, 2015?
2015.
Okay.
So for 19 years.
Okay, so you've been clean for the last 10 plus years.
Yes.
If I do
Yes.
math right, okay. So yeah, what was the biggest battle for you during that time of addiction? How did you feel about yourself? How did you feel about life, the world, family, etc.? What was it that kept you obviously beaten down, Cara?
I'm not really sure because like I would go 2 or 3 years and not use. And then I'd get around the old circle again. And it was, right back to the thing, get around those people and places. And I was back to using again and back to using again. And the last time I got back with that group of friends, that's the time that did me in. Like I didn't have any sober time for 3 years. It was 3 years just nonstop.
Heroin or whatever the party was? It didn't really matter?
Meth, because we made meth, so it was meth, heroin, Suboxone.
Availability.
Yeah,
Whatever
absolutely.
you could get your hands on was the drug of the day.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that went on and off your battle with it for like 19 years?
Yes.
Okay. And what what consequences did that bring to your life? What kind of losses did you experience? Incarceration or loss of your children or anything of that nature?
I had, so in May of 15 was the first time I got arrested. And I was walking down the street. I didn't know how to warrant, nothing. And cop pulled up, told me I was under arrest, went to jail, called home, begged and pleaded, just get me out, get me out, get me out. I'm not going to do this again. Meanwhile, while I'm in the jail, I'm plotting and planning what I'm going to do when I get home. I got bonded out and went back to the same thing.
What were the charges?
I had dealing in methamphetamine, which was the same as a manufacturing charge. Maintaining a common nuisance.
Pretty much the standard charges.
Yeah, the
where
standard
it all
charges.
starts.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that in a flippant way, but it's just another evidence of that's where it begins. How long were you incarcerated that first time?
A little over 48 hours.
Okay, then you were bonded out.
And I was bonded out. I think it was $2,500 to get me out. I went to all my court appearances. I went to my court appearances, and I would be high.
I was going to ask if you went sober or
No.
under the influence.
Yeah, I was under the influence.
What was it that created the thought in you that wouldn't catch up with you, or did you care?
So after I had been arrested, the lawyer I had kept telling me, like, you are going to walk on this. Like, because of some things that was in my discovery pack, he had told me, like, we will be able to get you out of this. Wrong thing to tell me at the time, because I was like, like knowing, hey, I was going to get away with this, so I can get away with continuing where I'm at. So I just kept pushing the boundaries.
If there was no punishment involved, then everything was okay at that point.
Right.
Well, obviously it wasn't okay, was it? And it did catch you.
Yes.
So you were sentenced to how long then?
Well, before I got sentenced, I got arrested again in August. Only it was a bigger charge this time. It was a level 4 instead of a 5. And I think I had 4 other charges on there. So that time I got arrested, they kicked the door in. And I can remember standing at my dad's like a few days prior. I was like, I've got to get out of where I'm at or I'm going to go to prison. Like, I knew I was going to go. And Dad offered for me to just go stay there. And I wasn't going to, because I couldn't do the things I was doing at this house, at his house. So I just stayed at where I was at. And the night they kicked in our door with a warrant, I thought it was people coming from the city that somebody had ripped off earlier in the day. So when it was the police that came in, like, I know I probably gave them a rough time, but looking back, like, it was a relief because I knew they weren't coming to kill me.
Okay. It was a relief that it was the police instead of who it could have been.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Not a good scenario either way, but at least you could live to face tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. So is that the moment that started the prison direction for you?
Yes. So I got arrested, and I was going to be able to get out of jail. Hutchison had lowered my bond, but under that, he had said, you're going to have to pass a drug screen. And if, you can't, I can't bond you out. So Amy had taken me in to do my screen. And
tell folks who Amy is.
Amy Sutton from probation had taken me in to do my screen, and there was no way I was going to get out of jail. And it was, I mean, like that, my screen, I think it was like 2 weeks later, it was still showing like high numbers. And that's because I wasn't just using everything, I was making it. So your body like absorbs it in all different kinds of ways. So then I knew I was stuck. Like, I'm stuck here.
So you were sentenced to jail and then sent on to Department of Corrections?
Yes. So the first, I think it was 3 weeks that I was at the Jay County Jail. I was in a holding tank because the jail at the time was at capacity and the only place I could go had a co-defendant there. So I didn't have much to do. And I remember a lady that had the little gray Gideon Bibles had asked, can she have this? And they were like, I don't care, slide it under. So like, that is what I had to read for like 2 weeks was the New Testament.
Had you read the Bible before? Had it been any part of your life prior to that?
Oh, yeah. I grew up in church.
Okay.
My family went to church every Sunday. If the doors were open, we were there. My dad was a youth pastor at one time, and I got to go on all the trips with the older kids and all the things. And so we grew up in church. I knew about the Bible. Like prior to getting arrested the second time, the guy that was my boyfriend was in prison, and I would be writing him Bible verses and things and sending him this kind of stuff. But here I am out here doing the most. So, yeah.
Okay. So you say you were in jail in the drunk tank, I think you said, for about 3 weeks there. Was that before you got transferred to prison?
No, that was before I even got put back in like the pods or the cell block. I was up there. When I was getting moved, that was like around the time I first got moved was my very first visit I got to have, and it was with my son. And
how old was he?
18.
Okay.
And the first time I seen him, he was brokenhearted.
Over
like
your situation.
Yes, he was devastated. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's when I seen that everything I had done and been doing, like that's when I actually seen all the pain and devastation.
That's the first time you, I'm going to say, looked in a mirror and really saw what it was creating.
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, it was like, I mean, like I had been reading that little Bible and all the things, but it was that just his face just so
Sure.
devastated that because we knew I was in trouble, and his face was just, I mean, like it crushed me to my soul.
Can't imagine. Cara, what was the scripture that saw you through during that time? Did you have a favorite or two that just, you know, were your verses of strength or hope?
Joshua 1:9.
Which is?
Be strong and courageous, for I will go with you. For your God will go with you. And when I started understanding, like, about being arrested, this, I don't know where it's at in the Bible. I can't think of it. But where it says God will provide a way out. He did provide a way out. It wasn't the way out I thought I was going to have, but it was the way out that he felt I needed to be sat down.
And so how much longer before you did go to prison?
I got sentenced in November, and then a week later. So when I got sentenced, the day I got sentenced, my lawyer, I had a 3-year cap to plead for both dealing charges. And I had asked Judge Hutchison, like, I wanted treatment and then, you know, put me on house arrest or something. And the day of sentencing, he told me I could get the best treatment possible, courtesy of the Indiana Department of Corrections. He capped me on both, so I was sentenced to 3-3. Didn't really know much about time cuts or anything, but we were just going to take it for what it was. And I think we had Celebrate Recovery that evening because we didn't really have much back then in the jail. And I had talked to, it was Dave and Mr. Eads were in there doing the Celebrate Recovery. And
Dave King.
yes. And they, they were very encouraging and like, just keep continuing on the track you're on. Like, you'll get through this. You've made it this far. So a week after I gotten sentenced, I got shipped to Rockville for intake. It's supposed to be 30 days. I got to spend 64 days at Rockville before I was moved. And then I think it was January 18th, I was moved to Madison.
Okay. Let's give a little shout out. Second Chance Ministry.
Yes.
As you just got done mentioning some of their leadership, the work they have done or doing, an integral part of the team effort that takes place in Jay County, the Portland, Indiana area. They were early on in the game, as you said. There weren't a lot of different ministries as there are today. That has changed. The stigma and the bias because of that has changed. It's not where we want it, but it's farther than it used to be.
Yes.
I always say when I speak of that stigma and bias from that time frame, the comment so often made was put them all on a ship and send them to an island. That was the talk. That's the way it was, and there weren't a lot of people working on behalf of those struggling with substance use disorder, addiction, and so that's usually basically what happened. They were shipped out to a prison, basically forgotten. You can't incarcerate the problem away. I understand the punishment. I'm not arguing that. But the help there is so little that you're just giving a break to the problem. You had mentioned earlier when you were in jail, you were thinking of the things you'd do when you got out of jail, and it's usually planning on how to get that next hit as soon as you get out. So we work with that, but thanks to all those involved with Second Chance for the work they do, along with other groups there in Jay County. So you're sent to prison. How long are you sentenced to prison?
I had 6 years to do. So I had, I think, 90 some days credit when I was sentenced. I got to Madison on, I'm pretty sure it was January 18th. So I think I had 5.5 years. So I still had good time that they needed to dock off and all of that. So I got to Madison. I was on a crazy section in a crazy dorm. Worked in the kitchen for 2 weeks. The Plus program had just started.
What is that?
Purposeful Living Unit Serves. It's a year-long program. It had just gotten started. They hadn't got anybody moved to the dorm yet. It was a brand new, freshly painted dorm. And I had went and talked to Mrs. Banks, who was going to be the director of it, about coming over because they were also sending people to therapeutic community. And I had talked to Mrs. Banks, and I was like, I've already started this faith walk. Like, we can do faith-based. Please let me in your program because I want to continue where I'm going. So I think a week later, I was moving to the Plus dorm. And we had different classes. We had faith-based classes. While I was in Madison, we had church or Bible study every single night. And I went to every church that was offered, even Jehovah's Witness. I would go sit with them because I wanted to learn, why do you believe how you believe? I wanted to know why everybody believed the way they believed. I wanted to learn more.
Gotcha. Yeah. So how long did you actually serve there at Madison?
2 years.
2 years
Yes.
out of 6?
So with my good time credit, I was able to get 2 years of time cuts in those 2 years that I was there. So when I got there, I hit the ground running. When I was there, I got my HSE. I took business tech, became certified for Word and Excel. I completed the Plus program. I got to stay on as a mentor for 6 months. And after that, I was moved to the grad dorm. While in the grad dorm, I worked at Clifty Falls and did IoT. What else? Oh, and then when I got moved to work release, I was able to join the pilot program to become a welder at Ivy Tech.
Have you earned any kind of certificate for welding or whatever?
Yes.
I'm just, from my limited experiences, I've not met a lot of female welders, but you are a legit...
AWS,
Which-
American Welding Society.
Hooray for you. Wow.
Yes.
That must have been a real encouragement to your heart to accomplish something like that.
It was awesome. Like, because we're all in prison and we're getting to do pilot programs because they also had a CNC lathe operator program, which I was not in the spot where I could be in that. But as soon as they opened up for welding, I was like, let me go to this. Please just let me go. Like, this is awesome.
Had you ever dreamed about welding before that moment?
A long time ago, we'd play around in the garage with a welder, but to
Okay.
actually become a welder, absolutely
Was not a thought.
No, not at all.
That's not usually on the top of the list when
No.
people are asked, but hooray. It's a wonderful profession and much needed. So you were in prison for 2 years. Is that where you gained a depth of relationship with Christ? I noticed you said on your brief bio that, I forget how you worded it, but I got the impression that's the case. That's where you and Jesus became one, more so. Tell us about that.
So, my favorite church when I was down in Madison was Heart of Christ Ministries. There's 4 ministers. There are two teams, a husband and wife, and they would come in every Saturday. And me and Trisha Davis.
I wanted to ask you
Yes.
so badly if the two of you ever connected.
Yes,
Okay.
so she was a mentor to me. Why? Because we were in the same dorm until she went home, and we went to every Saturday night service, and we would be front row, and we'd be jumping up and down to the music, and the Saturday night church, like, they really cared about us. And, like, they'd pray over us, and they wanted to know, like, how are you doing? What can we pray with you about? Like, it was an amazing ministry team that came in and actually cared.
Wonderful.
Yes. And then,
Isn't that what we all want?
oh, yes.
Somebody who cares?
Yes.
I don't care what our brokenness looks like, what our stupid decisions
Yes.
have done to us. To know somebody cares. Whoa, go ahead.
Okay. There was this one group that came in, and they were called Daughters of Destiny. They're based out of Chicago, Illinois. And one weekend, they would do like weekends, like every so often. And they had come in, and it was right when I first started the Plus program. And they had come in, and at the end, they had given them permission, like if we wanted prayed for, they could put their hands on us, like lay hands, things like that, which is probably not real normal for a prison, like not that many years ago. But afterwards, they were like, if you need prayer, come up here. We will pray for you. You just got to tell us what you need. So by this time, they had put me on medicine, because I was having like dreams about dreams about just like my prior life. That's what I dream about. So they had put me on a medicine. I'd asked to be taken off of it, Then I just stayed on it. So that night I walked up there and this really, I know I'm super short, but this lady was really, really tall. And she had like a Jamaican accent, African, whatever her accent was. She wasn't from around here. And she says, "What do you want me to pray for you for?" And out of my mouth came, "I just don't want to get high anymore." Like that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted was for her to pray for me and me not have the want or the dreams or anything anymore. Cause like that's praying that out of me was what I felt like was the only way things were going to change. So this lady put her hands on me and she prayed and prayed and I cried and she prayed and I knew leaving I was different. And then I ended up getting off of the medicine, which was a whole ordeal because you have to refuse your meds 3 times, and that's a write-up. And the assistant superintendent of Madison happened to be a pastor who led our Bible studies. And I had went to him and I said, "I don't want on this medicine anymore. You know, the TV doctor wants to just up it or I have to refuse it. I can't have a write-up." Like, I didn't want to be in trouble. And he's like, "That's fine. Just don't do it." Like, and I'm like, "Well, I don't want wrote up." And he's like, "You won't be." So I stopped taking the medicine and everything changed. Like, no more dreams, no more nothing. Because that lady prayed over me.
I get spirit chills hearing you say that, all right? Just the idea of how powerful and caring God is. We talk about wanting to be cared, for, and there is no greater care than what he shares with us through Christ. That's awesome. What has that led you to today, Cara? Where are you in your Jesus journey, your professional journey? How do they intersect? Share today's victories and joys with us. You've done a great job of sharing the struggle. Let's get into some victory reports.
Okay. So I attended a church for about a year and a half. Like the same one. Like I would do online church sometimes on Sunday, whatever. So we were going to this one church and landed.
Is this after you're out?
Yes, this is after I'm out.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe like 5 months ago, Landon Grimes had some special young speakers.
Oh,
and we made the trip to Hickory Grove.
Out of Pennsylvania.
Yes. And I had asked my daughter-in-law, I'm like, "Do you just want to go to this church thing with me?" She's like, "Sure, I'll meet you there." She's always up for church. But we went there and like before I even heard the speakers or anybody, like it is a country church. Everybody loves you.
There is no other way to describe it.
No, like you walk in and it's like they've known you your whole life. They want to hug you and tell you you're loved and just, I mean, I was blown away. It was like the church I grew up in when I was a kid. So,
let me interrupt you just a second to tell folks it's a small building right at the corner of a couple of highways. It may be a small building, but the ministry and the love's gigantic and it's packed.
Yes.
There's not a lot of elbow space, and they just added to their parking lot, and it's still not big enough. They've got a lot of nice problems going on. Yes. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure we let them know.
So, the saying that, you can't take material things with you when you leave this earth, but you can take your family. So I have just been praying over my kids, over my grandkids. So my daughter and my bonus son and their 3 kids attend church now with me.
Are you going there to church?
Yes,
we
have been going. Oh, man, I absolutely love it. So, and then my son and my bonus daughter and their 2 girls come. A couple Sundays ago, Skyla was baptized, which is my bonus daughter. My son Chris was baptized. I had a granddaughter that was baptized, and then I have a granddaughter who is in a wheelchair. She has some medical things, and Pastor Dahl used the same water he baptized her mom and dad in to put on top of her head. Like, these are just like so many answered prayers, but they're not just like my answered prayers. They're like, my grandma prayed for this. My dad, like our family has prayed for this. And then once I got my life on track, these are things that I've prayed for.
You know, that makes me think of the illustration. Many times the one who plants the tree will not see it to its growth, but their grandchild may swing on a limb. And, you're in that same situation there. I believe in the power of Grandma's prayers.
Oh, yes.
She may not have gotten to see the answer, but she'll meet the answer in heaven someday.
Yes.
And that's big to me.
Yes, absolutely. My grandma passed in January. I'm thankful that I was able to have my life turned around to actually spend time with her before she passed away and moved on to better things, up there. But I'm grateful that I was able to, like when she got put in a nursing home, go down and we'd have supper together and look through memories on Facebook or, put Bible tabs on her Bible, just showing up and being there for her, because that lady was there for me every single day, right, wrong. She didn't care. She was there and was throwing up a prayer. So it's.
So, Cara, we're getting close to the end of our time together here. Is there something else you want to share that you haven't said? If there's anything on your heart, express it the best way you can. What's the advice you'd give someone else who's going through what you did?
Find your pathway. We don't have to have the same one. I mean,
Love it.
Whatever pathway works for you is what works for you. We can hang out. You can not believe in God, and we can still hang out and still be in recovery. Everybody's journey is different, but like when it comes to pathways, whatever your pathway is that gets you into recovery, that's what gets you into recovery. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you get there.
I've always said the pathway into the addiction is as varied, it's as diverse as the pathway that can get you out of addiction.
Absolutely.
And folks, don't count on the straight and narrow path. It's going to squiggle, overlap. It's not going to be a pretty picture. It doesn't have to be, as long as you're headed for that positive point of recovery and becoming the you've been created to be.
Yes.
Cara, thanks. I know some of this isn't easy. It digs up wounds and it's triggers, but you're on top of it. Continue on top of it. Continue to stay in the battle, as we always advise those who are listening in or watching this. Make sure you hang in there to that next step, that next prayer, that next corner. Your healing may be ready to happen. And as you said earlier, there are paths that will get you there. I've not seen them yet, short of God's direction and involvement, but I know true freedom comes in Christ.
Yes.
And if you want to be free from it all, begin there. Begin with Him. And then step where He tells you to. God bless you. Thanks for joining us today, Cara. God bless you and your continued efforts and the works you do for others. I know they're many and varied, and that you're coming on the board of the Better Life Brianna's Hope this Saturday. I think it actually is. We're looking forward to that. Folks, we love you. Be blessed. Amen.